Well, just got back from the range up on the mountain. Welcome back, folks. Tonight we're going to take a look here at the new OLIGHT PLX. This is an interesting weapon light here because most weapon lights I've seen, they pretty much have one mode. Usually it's kind of like a spotlight mode. This one here, we have two different beams that we can use. One a floodlight, one a spotlight. So in this video, you're going to see how it looks in the real world. And also too here on the workbench, we'll go through some of the features real quick, how you use it, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, let's get started. Thank you to OLIGHT for sending this to me for the purposes of review, but always my opinions are always my own. Okay, so what comes in the box? Well, obviously our weapon light here, and let's just have a real quick look at it. So the top two lights there are for the floodlight here, and then if we need to go to the spotlight, we just flick it up, and that's our spotlight right there. We can flick it back and forth between floodlight and also the spotlight, depending on what you need. You'll see my video here coming up in terms of how it looks at the range. And then we have our screw right here for the Picatinny rail. They also have a Glock adapter as well in there. This I'll get into in a minute. We'll talk about that. And then we also have two switches here. So you can either push down on the switch or you can push in on the switch. It's up to you. You can also use the other one too. You know, whatever works for you, you know, it's there. So pretty much which left-handed, right-handed, whichever hand's convenient. Hey, you know, you've got two switches there. They both do the same thing. So totally up to you. Yeah, and then, the charging here. So the charging is pretty easy. It comes with a charging cord, and it's just your regular Type-C USB charging, which is pretty much what everybody's going to these days. Now, one of the things I like about this, it has a ratcheting system. Whenever you go to tighten this screw down, you'll hear it kind of ratchet up. The other thing too is that you can shift this forwards or backwards, and then this piece here, there is a little screw right there. It comes with its own little screwdriver. You can take that screw out and you can actually flip this little nubby bin here and flip it around the other way. So it kind of depends on, you know, what your setup is and all that. For me, originally when it came in the box, it was the other way around. That didn't really kind of snug it up close to the trigger guard, so what I ended up having to do was just flip it, and that ended up working out pretty good. And I also had to kind of ratchet it all the way back, so it kind of snugged up where I needed it to. So depending on your situation, you might have to make some adjustments here to get the fit that you need, but it's not really a big deal. It took me just, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes to figure it out in terms of how I wanted to set it up. Once you have that done, you're just going to take your screwdriver right here, and you're just going to just go ahead and start to tighten it down onto the rail. You'll need to make sure that piece right there is snug in between one of the pieces of the rail, and there you go. Tighten it all the way down, and then it says to tighten it to a certain torque setting, but pretty much what I did was I just went ahead and got it to where it was tight, but obviously I didn't want to like totally overdo it. I do have a torque wrench where I can measure that, so I'll do that in the future whenever I put it on permanently once I get done doing the whole review and all that stuff. Actually, a piece of Picatinny rail, I can go ahead, and I'm just using my thumb on the screw there just to kind of widen this up and kind of secure it in place and just kind of let my finger go. And then once I have it in the place where I want it to be, then I can go ahead and just tighten it down all the way, and you'll hear it ratchet. Let me see if the microphone will pick it up. On the rail, so easy day. In the box, there's also the Glock rail adapter, an extra screw. There's a charging cord underneath here as well, and then a little screwdriver to fulfill all the different functions. There's also an instruction book with all the instructions you need. It's pretty thorough, and then a little user manual as well where a couple things are written down. And that's pretty much it. Now, 2 ways you can turn the light on or off. One of which is you can just go ahead and do a momentary on to, like, let's say if you want to light something up for a couple seconds, but you don't want to keep the light on. So just squeeze in on one of the buttons, hold it down, And when you're done with when you're done with what you need to do, just take your finger off the button. It automatically goes off. If you want to switch it on, then either of these two buttons, either pushing down or pushing in, you just kind of hit it real quick, and there it is. It'll go ahead and it'll come on. It'll also come on in the setting where you just left it. So the last time you used it. So if you left it in the high mode, it's going to automatically go to the high mode. If you left it in the low, that's what it will do. So just be aware of that. Now, if you have the light off and you immediately just want to go to high mode in case you left it in low mode before, it's just going to be a quick double press. And right in high mode we go, and there we go. Now, if we want to go to strobe mode, it's just going to be a triple press. So basically just 1, 2, 3, and into the strobe mode there. We can also go to the spotlight too, and we'll see more of this whenever we go out into the woods in terms of how it looks in the real world. So pretty simple with the controls. You just have to remember single quick press to turn on, single quick press to turn off, a quick double press to go to the high mode, and then off. And then if we want to do strobe, it's just going to be a triple press real quick, and that is strobe. Okay. Now, once we have the light on, if we need to adjust the brightness setting, then it's going to be a double press. And now we go to the low mode here. Okay. And again, a double press if we need to go to the high mode to change the brightness setting. So up to you in terms of, what you need. Generally in the high mode, it's going to run for about 5 minutes. So the first thing I'm going to show you all is the momentary on and off. So you can either push down on the switch or push it straight ahead. And here's what it looks like here. So we are on the higher setting right here. We're about 15 yards away from the target. Lights it up pretty good. So looking pretty good with that. Then if we just want to turn it on, it's just a matter of just hitting the button real quick, and then it stays on. And if we need to turn it off, we just press it again real quick, and off it goes. Now, if we need to go to, let's say if we're not sure if we're set on the high setting or the low setting, we can do a quick double press, and it'll go right to the high setting. Now, if we need to try out the strobe, we can go right to the strobe with 3 quick presses on either button, either pushing forward or pushing down on the button. 1, 2, 3. And there we go, strobing it here. So we're in spotlight mode right here. Okay. Now, if we want to go ahead and switch it to floodlight over here on the side of the light, all we got to do is flick the switch down. And now, whenever we press the button to go on, you can see how it lights up a whole area like a floodlight. So kind of similar to a lot of the recent lights like the Arc Pro Ultra, where you can flip between that floodlight and that spotlight, and it's very useful in a lot of situations. So now we'll go ahead and turn it off, and let's go ahead and, like again, if we're not sure if we're in the high setting, we can double click on it, and there we go. And now if we click it down, that's our low setting there. And then we go to high right here. And then if we want to do the strobe, we can go ahead and give it a quick 3 press here. And here we are in the strobe. There's the low setting again, high setting. So yeah, that low setting is still going to give you plenty of light. So after about 5 minutes, it will step down from the high to the lower setting, but you can still see it's pretty good. So now let's see how it looks with the building right here. And yeah, so in the spotlight mode, gives us a good solid, I'd say maybe about, I'd say about 8 to 10 feet wide. So we get a good kind of spotlight there. And then if we want to switch it over to the floodlight, you can see now it lights everything up pretty good here. So if we need to light up a whole area to kind of get a better perspective on what's going on, we can do that just with the flick of the side switch. And then back to spotlight again. So here we are out here on a very cold, dark night. It's about 11 degrees Fahrenheit. Fortunately, there's no wind, so it's actually kind of a nice evening in a way. But we have our OLIGHT PLX. And so we're going to go ahead and put this to the test out here in the conditions and see how things look with this PLX. Now to go ahead and wrap this up, I installed this on a P30, went out in the nice cold evening, about 14 degrees Fahrenheit, and put this to the test. It just performed perfectly. So you'll see some of the, I hope you saw some of the footage in the video. It ended up working out really good. Definitely check this out, folks. This is good value for the money. We are going to do more testing with it going into the future and some more videos, so stay tuned with that. But this is a good starter video here. We put about 100 rounds down range with it, not a single problem, worked great. And it's just coming on the market here. I like it, gets the job done. I like the dual mode. You can switch between that floodlight or that spotlight, so that's cool. You just have those two options there if you want them. So anyways, definitely check this out, folks. Y'all have a good day.